Welcome to the Sports Angle on PR Connections Radio, the voice of new media, here in the sports entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm your host, Ian Rakelli. It's been a fantastic week in the sports world as baseball, postseason baseball's in full gear. The NBA preseason, you've had fisticuffs, you're having teammates, all around brawl out there in the NBA. NFL, the NFL quarter all the way in. You had terrible games on Amazon Prime Video that gladly no one's watching anyway. But you know what? It's been a fantastic time to talk about the NFL, and I'll talk about that later on in the show here on Sports Angle and PR Connections Radio. And hockey season, hockey season, it is back here in Las Vegas. Vegas Golden Knights year 6. Now, for our show tonight, Sports Angle on PR Connections Radio, I had to bring somebody back on who's been on this show before. I had to bring someone on who's very knowledgeable, someone who knows the game of sports, someone who's also very well knowledge on the game of baseball, and that is Vegas Mike. Vegas Mike, welcome back onto the show. How's
Ian, you have me worried. The way you started off your show, I wasn't sure if I should brought my boxing gloves or what, if we were going to brawl, or if I needed to bring my knee pads and chest pads, because you sound like you're ready to brawl over baseball. Is this true?
I'm willing to brawl over baseball, basketball, football, hockey. I'm willing to go at it with anybody right now in the sports world. But yes, for right now, we're going to do postseason baseball. Now, I wanted to ask not only the audience this, but I want to ask you this because it's been over 2 months since the Sports Angle on PR Connections Radio has talked about the world of baseball. I've come on this show and I have told people that it's going to be a West Coast, East Coast World Series matchup. I've been saying since May that's going to be the New York Yankees. It's going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're going to have the old Brooklyn Dodgers playing at Ebbett Field, taking on the New York Yankees out there at Old Yankee Stadium, the good Yankee Stadium. So I want to ask you, Vegas Mike, you're watching around the world, who is going to be your World Series prediction? Who is going to be in the World Series postseason baseball?
Well, Ian, let's get ready to rumble. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's boxing, isn't it?
Hey, don't get me sued now.
I won't get you sued. Old people don't brawl. They just know how to talk. All righty, let's talk a little bit. All seriousness, Ian. There's 2 facets to the game of baseball now. One is on paper, and one is on the field. The game of baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, you name it, it's always been played on the field or the ice or the court, wherever you're actually playing the game. Years ago, when this guy who's talking to you played baseball, we actually did statistics, but it was in our brains. It might be on a little scratch pad piece of paper. Somebody might carry a pencil with them. There weren't computers. So actually, the game was played with statistics, and you could tell what the statistics were because somebody would win and somebody would lose. And somebody that was 20 games up, we knew had the better team, probably had more home runs, probably had better pitching. But we never had it on computers churning it out. We had guys' brains actually working back at that point. So their brains actually worked rather than a computer, but it was probably on paper. And then we had to play the game on the field, just like today. The reason I mentioned that is statistics and facts do play a part in the game of baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, you name it. It is a game of statistics and facts, and then it's a game on the field. The example that I'd like to give you, Ian, is when the season ended, we had the opportunity to sit down and take the top teams in hitting and the top teams in pitching. We just used raw ERA and then the raw batting averages. And what we saw, we said, let's line up the teams 1 through 30 in pitching. Let's line up the teams 1 through 30 in batting. And we did. And then we assigned points to them. Equal weighting to pitching, equal weighting to batting. And let's see who the top teams were. And of the top about 15 teams, lo and behold, who was the best team in hitting? It was the Yankees. The second was the Cardinals. The third was the Guardians. The fourth were the Astros. The fifth were the Padres. The sixth, the Dodgers. The seventh, the Braves. The eighth, the Phillies. Then all of a sudden, somebody named the Angels popped into ninth. And then you went back to the Mariners. Lo and behold, all but one of those teams are in the playoffs. Then we looked at pitching. We went down and ranked them again, 1 through 30. Who's the best pitching team? Who's the second best pitching team? Wow, neither one of them are in the playoffs. The Marlins and the White Sox. So who's the best pitching team in the playoffs? The Braves, then the Phillies, and then the Blue Jays. Oh, they're gone. Then the Mariners, then the Astros, then the Giants. Oops, they didn't make it. Then the Mets, they're gone. Then the Rangers, they didn't make it. Then the Dodgers, then the Diamondbacks. And then the Rays and the Padres, and the Yankees came in 16th, and the Guardians 17th. So it looks like during the regular season, hitting is the name of the game. Pitching makes you competitive, but it doesn't get you there. But anyway, it's statistically and using facts rather than emotions. We rank those teams out, giving equal weightings to each team. In other words, if you were the best hitting team, you got 30 points. And if you were the best pitching team, you got 30 points. Who came out with the best overall weighting? The Atlanta Braves with 52 weighted points. Then the Phillies, then the Astros, then the team that didn't make it, the Marlins, because of their strong pitching. Then the Mariners, then the Yankees and Dodgers both came out equal weighting at 45 points. Remember, this is statistics for people who believe in playing on paper. Then you get the Padres, the Cardinals, the Guardians, and the White Sox, who didn't make it. Then the Mets, Blue Jays, and Rays, who all made it. So we looked down at those, and 14 teams, and 2 of them didn't make it. But those that did, then you could put them against each other. So we look at the first NHL, the first National League playoff series, and we have the Phillies against the Cardinals. So the Phillies were ranked higher than the Cardinals in the weighting. And who won? The Phillies. Then we looked at the Padres and the Mets, and who was weighted ahead on the statistics of the Padres and the Mets? Well, the Padres. So they won and the Mets lost. Then we look at the American League, and who was ranked higher in the first playoff game, Mariners and Blue Jays? Oops, it was the Mariners. So what do we say? The Mariners won it. Then we look at the next series and we see the Guardians playing the Rays. Well, who won it? The Guardian and the Rays. So what we see in the first set of series, Ian, is I believe what we saw was hitting win in the wild card games. I think hitting beat pitching in the wild card. Whoa, that's not supposed to happen in the playoffs. But the best teams won, and they were best teams, a lot of them, because of hitting. Then we look at the current series, and where are we at? Now we're going to get to where the game's played on the field. I believe the game being played on the field and where pitching becomes important doesn't happen till you get into the playoffs and then the divisional championships and then the World Series. So now we have the number 1 rated Braves, whose pitching was pretty darn strong, and their hitting was reasonable, against the Cardinals, who didn't make it. Oh, the Cardinals didn't make it, but why were they so good? Well, I don't know why they were so good, but it looks like they didn't make it. But who made it? The Phillies. And why did the Phillies make it? Because they had some reasonable pitching, okay? They were number 4th in pitching. So this is where pitching starts coming into play, is in the series championship. And then the Dodgers and the Padres now. The Dodgers, remember, are ranked equally with the Yankees, and the Padres were ranked just a little bit better in hitting. And the Dodgers caught up somewhat in the other rankings. And then, of course, in the American League, the Astros are unfortunately not playing the Blue Jays, but they're playing the Mariners, and they're up 2-0. And, of course, the Yankees are going to be up 2-0 against the Guardians tomorrow, because the Guardians, again, even though they had a darn good hitting team, they didn't match up in pitching, where it starts becoming important. So to summarize my view, first of all, statistics have always been in baseball, used to be in your brains. Now it's on paper. It's on computers. It spits out any statistic you want, upside down, inside out, and right side up. And statistics come into play into who makes it. Who makes it into the playoffs? It's very important. And through the first series, it's about hitting through the wild card, but then it starts merging more to being played on the field, who's better at that time, and pitching comes into play. So that's why I think the Yankees, being right in the middle of the pack, are going to be there. The Dodgers lost. The top three hitters for the Dodgers were up in the bottom of the ninth, and they went through four guys, but they couldn't get it done. Two of them have been all-stars. So the Dodgers did not get it done against the Padres in the bottom of the ninth. So if they couldn't get it done against the Padres with two all-stars in the top of the lineup, why are they going to do it against the Yankees?
It's one game. It was one postseason game. They you know what? I told people Dodgers were going to win it in 4. All right, Padres, they'll get one game off of LA, but the Dodgers are going to beat San Diego, okay? The San Diego Padres, California's little bro, LA's little bro. The Dodgers are going to beat San Diego. They're going to move on to the NLCS, take on Philadelphia. That's right. I have Philadelphia beating your Atlanta Braves. And then I'll have the LA Dodgers beating Philadelphia Phillies. That's what my prediction will be. So when it comes to the NLCS, when it comes to the NLDS, when it comes to the World Series, Vegas Mike, and everyone watching around the world, the Dodgers have the best 26-man roster in baseball. And I've made this argument. I've had this conversation with a coworker of mine. It's not about having the best 26-man. It's about having the right 26-man roster. And the Los Angeles Dodgers, as much as I don't want to agree with it, have the right 26 men on their roster. They have people in pitching. They have people in the bullpen. They have people in hitting. They have people in the infield, people in the outfield. They got solid defense. They got solid offense. Dodgers have it all. They have all-stars. They have Gold Glove winners. They have Silver Sluggers. They have Cy Young Award winners. Dodgers organization is very good, and I mean very good, at finding talent and diamonds in the rough. So, to answer the question, yes, they lost one game against San Diego. That's the only game they're going to lose in this series. So, give me the Yankees versus Dodgers in the World Series, and give me your Los Angeles Dodgers as your 2022 World Series champions. But Vegas Mike, I think you still haven't answered the question. Who is your 2022 World Series champion? Are you going to go with the Bronx Bombers, the Evil Empire, the team that everyone wants to see lose, the New York Yankees?
Well, Ian, I think it's good that you're talking yourself into the Dodgers winning, because I'm hearing all of your positive reasons, but I'm telling you, those are also negatives. You get two all-stars in the first 3 hitting spots or first 4 hitting spots, however they line up, and they can't beat the Padres. Wow. How are they going to beat good pitching? No, actually, the Padres relief pitcher, he looked really good tonight. But remember, whoever goes to the World Series has to go through the Astros. And the Astros know how to cheat. I want you to remember that. Secondly, whoever goes to the World Series has to go through the Braves. I want you to remember, it's all about pitching, and the Braves has the best pitching team in the playoffs, and the Phillies. So one of those two are going to have much better pitching than the Dodgers, Mr. Kelly. So if it wins on the field and pitching wins, why would the Dodgers be there? See, you got to first tell me that why the Dodgers are going to be there when the Braves and Phillies both have much better pitching, and we know pitching wins in the championship game and in the World Series. Why will the Dodgers get there? So you've told me everything, but you haven't told me anything, because I don't think they're going to beat the pitching of either the Braves or the Phillies.
So I'm going to say on record, when it comes to Atlanta, you're very high on Atlanta. You respect Atlanta. I get it. What I don't see is that last season, last playoffs, you had Atlanta versus LA. Okay, I'll give you that. NLCS, Atlanta beat LA to get to the World Series. Okay, I'll give you that as well. But answer me this. Last year, who did the Atlanta Braves have at first base when they beat the LA Dodgers? Who did the Atlanta Braves have as an all-star, one of the best players in all of baseball on their team when they took up against the Dodgers last year? That's right. His name was Freddie Freeman. You knew who he was. You knew who he was. He was Freddie Freeman. And the Atlanta Braves don't have him now. The Braves do not have a certain kind of members in their rotation, in their bullpen. They don't have that anymore. As a matter of fact, having Kenley Jansen in your bullpen, Dodgers fans would know who he is very well. So I'm going to say on record, yes, the Braves have an excellent pitching staff. Excellent. One of the best. But the Dodgers, you give me Urias versus Strider. You give me Kyle Wright versus Walker Buehler. You give me Tony Gonsolin going up against somebody like Max Fried. It would be an excellent matchup. But if you ask me, based off of have they been there, done that, who would I trust in a 7-game series, best of 7? That's not going to happen, by the way, because the Phillies are going to beat the Braves, and I've said that on record. But in this hypothetical scenario, let's play it out and say that LA takes on Atlanta. I would trust Urias, Gonsolin, Kershaw, Buehler. I would trust LA's starting rotation because they've been there and they've done it.
Sorry for not paying attention to you, but you haven't told me how they're going to beat the Braves pitching. I heard this scenario about the Dodgers pitching and how good they were, but on ERA, they were way down the line, Ian. They were number 11 in pitching, where the Braves were number 3 and the Phillies were number 4. So how are the Dodgers? Is the Dodgers pitching improved since the end of the season that much to be either the Braves or the Phillies? I don't see it. I watched it tonight. San Diego got 5 runs off of them. I watched it, and the Dodgers pitching couldn't stop them. I don't know how the Dodgers pitching is going to beat the Braves or the Phillies in the division championship. I don't see how they'll do it if the Dodgers get past the Padres, and that's the big if. They've got to get past the Padres first, and I'm not so sure they've got the team to do it. They could, but if they get past them, they still got to get past the first 2. So, Ian, the pitching of the Dodgers is not as good as the pitching of the Braves and the Phillies, and they've got to get it past that. So if the playoffs is about pitching, the Dodgers aren't going to get there.
The playoffs that we're talking about it here on the Sports Angle on PR Connections Radio. The playoffs is about who has the momentum. It's about momentum-based postseason baseball. We have seen teams who get red hot in September. They ride that wave into October, and they go all the way. We've seen it happen plenty of times before in baseball. It's been done once. It will be done again. Postseason baseball is about, all right, I went 18-6 in the month of September. You know what? We had a fantastic last run, and we're going to carry that into the wild card. Wow, we swept a certain team in the NL wild card, and we won 2 out of 3. Let's keep it going. Wow, we won 3 out of 5 in the ALDS. Let's ride all that way to the ALCS. Man, amazing. We've won it. We've won the ALCS. We're going to the World Series. We've seen it happen before. It's been done before. It'll probably happen again. So when it comes to momentum, there is no team I look at and say, this team has the momentum and they have the ability to get there. It has to be the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees, when it comes to momentum, they're riding one of the biggest waves of momentum. Aaron Judge hitting 62 home runs. The pitching now starting to get back in order thanks to Chapman not being in the bullpen anymore. You have the Yankees riding a wave of momentum. And you have your Los Angeles Dodgers, who have one of the best sound teams in baseball. They're hitting, they're pitching. I'm not going to say their coaching staff, but their scouting department and executives are top-notch. So I'm going to stick to my argument, Vegas Mike. I have the Yankees. I have the Dodgers. Your 2022 World Series matchup. But Vegas Mike, I really want to know who is your 2022 World Series matchup.
So nationally, you're saying the Dodgers hitting and momentum is going to carry them past the Braves and the Phillies. Is that what I think you're saying? And then you just made my case for me by saying that the Dodgers hitting and momentum is going to be superior and get them into the World Series above the pitching. Then by default, you just made the case that the Yankees momentum and hitting is going to make it by the Astros, who have, by the way, the number one ranked team on baseball and hitting combined in the American League. So I'm glad you made the case for me that the Dodgers are going to get there because of momentum and hitting and not pitching. So the Yankees can do it on momentum, which is hitting. So you made my case for me. I'm not sure what I can say. But then now let's switch to the Yankees. I'm willing to talk about the Yankees because, again, the Yankees do not have as good pitching as the Astros. They have better hitting, but they don't have as good as pitching. So I would say if the Astros are willing to cheat again, they can beat the Yankees. But it's going to become they're by cheating. But going to your philosophy, if it's the momentum, then it's the Yankees. Yes, Judge, he's got to be there. It would be a befitting tribute to him to be there. And then, of course, your old buddy from Chicago, Rizzo. You know, what a great addition to the Yankees. He is a leader. He played pretend manager during the year.
Just put salt in the wound, by the way. Just putting salt in the wound.
If you put Rizzo and Judge together, I truly believe if you're going to use the momentum case this year based upon your case of momentum, then we will see the Yankees and the Dodgers. If you use the case of pitching, it's probably going to be the Braves or the Phillies. Likely could be against the Astros. But based on momentum and hitting, which I'm going to go with you on this year, Ian, I believe it. I believe the Yankees have the momentum, and I believe the Dodgers have it. So I'm in agreement that I would like to see the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series. Now, who would win? Based on momentum. The greatest momentum right now in the whole baseball world lies with the Yankees. Doesn't matter what TV set you look on, whether it's Cox, whether it's Contour, or whatever it is. Whose pitcher comes up? Aaron Judge, the tall man. They call him the tall man now. So if you want to talk about a winner based on momentum and hitting, it's got to be the Yankees. Come on, Ian. Come on. If you've seen any more momentum than this, who was on TV every night? It was Aaron Judge. Who's making them win? Rizzo. So you got Judge out there who's going to pull through. He's going to have a great World Series against the Dodgers. You got Rizzo who's going to beat the old National League team, the Dodgers. He's always going to beat the Dodgers. So between Judge, Rizzo, and a few other players on the Yankees, because they're both there on momentum, they're both there on hitting, not pitching, I think you got to give it to the Yankees because their hitting was better than the Dodgers this year. The Dodgers pitching was a little better than the Yankees, but remember, it's not about pitching this year. It's about momentum, it's about hitting, and it's about the Yankees.
So as we were talking about the Yankees versus Dodgers and how it's going to be the World Series matchup here on the Sports Angle on PR Connections Radio, we got about 5 minutes left here on the show. So I want to ask two rapid fire questions for you, Vegas Mike, and take your time when it comes to answering the questions. The first one is for anyone who's been watching this show, anybody who's been going on my Twitter at Ian Rakelli18, and who's been on my social media at Sports Angle on PR, you will know that I'm a big advocate for Aaron Judge leaving New York. I'm a big advocate that Aaron Judge is going to return home. He's going to go back to the West Coast. He is from Fresno, California, after all, went to Fresno State University. That's where the Yankees drafted him from. So I'm a huge advocate for it, but I have a feeling you're going to be a huge advocate against Aaron Judge leaving. So very quickly, give me an argument as to why Aaron Judge will or will not stay with the Yankees for the 2022 MLB offseason.
Is the 18 mean in Ian Rakelli? Your email is Ian Kelly 18. What does the 18 stand for? I'm confused. You're older than 18. You look much older. In fact, I think you're probably about 30 or 35.
18 is literally just the number that I picked. There was no meaning behind it. I just picked the name. I just picked the number 18 after my name.
See, the reason I ask you that is because that's why you're not thinking right about Aaron Judge, because your just means nothing. Aaron Judge is going to leave and go to California. It's the same as why did you pick 18? It sounds to me like you just decided that he's going to leave. The Yankees are going to make him the first $500 million guy. It's just what it is. He's going to get what he asked for. The publicity he brought to the Yankees, the publicity he brought to the game, the stature he's brought to the game. You know, Aaron Judge is really a good guy. I mean, he's not flamboyant. He's not arrogant. He's not sarcastic. He's not out there in your face. He's not trying to get attention. He's just a darn good guy. And the Yankees recognize that. And so does MLB. So he's going to stay in the biggest market, the biggest baseball market. And if they have to pay him $500 million over 10 years, even though he's 31, they're going to do it. He is big time. He is major market. He is the tall man. So he's going to stay with the Yankees. He's not going to the West Coast. Could he go to the Mets? That's still New York. It's anybody's guess. The owner of the Mets, Cohen, he's got $1 billion. He can pay him $1 billion if he wants. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying Aaron Judge very likely could become the first $500 million player because he's the tall man. And he's going to be known as the tall man from here on out. And I don't think New York's going to let him go, Mr. Ian. So just like why is 18 in your name, it's the same logic. Why in the heck would you think that he's going to go to the West Coast? He can go live there after he retires. He can go stay there whenever he wants to stay there. He doesn't need to live there to be there.
Well, since you talk about New York Mets, New York Yankees, how about, just because I can, could you imagine if you close your eyes real quick, unless you're driving, then just keep your eyes on the road. But just close your eyes real quick and imagine seeing Aaron Judge walk out of Dodger Stadium wearing Dodger blue 99, being out there in Hollywood. I think that'd be a fantastic move if you see Aaron Judge out there. Or you know what? I'll toss you a bone. How about we see him rocking that Padres, rocking the brown and gold? How about he rocks a 99 out there in San Diego, out there at Petco Park, out here in California? Yes, I am still going to go with it. I still have Aaron Judge going out to California. Only way I don't see it is if the Yankees make Aaron Judge the highest paid player in baseball. That's the only way I see him staying with the Yankees, if they make him an offer he can't refuse. Like that movie. You know what movie I'm talking about. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. That's the only way I see Aaron Judge staying with New York.
My eyes are still closed. Can I open them? Because I can't see anything you're saying. He's not going to California. He can go to California when he's 41 years old, when he's 45. He is not a Hollywood type. He's not a movie star type. He doesn't get his kicks from beating up on other people like the Hollywood type do. Sorry to say that, but that's what they do. Not all of them, but most of them are arrogant. Most of them are self-serving, and that's all I can say. And he's not that. He is a good person. He's an honest person. He's a person who has virtue. He does not find that in California. Why would he go to Hollywood to find something that he's not? He's already the tall man. He's already got the respect of people. He doesn't need to show it in a Hollywood clip, in a Hollywood fade out. He does not need to show that. There's no reason to go to the Dodgers where all those kind of guys want to be. Would he go to San Diego? Why? That's far from home. Heck, that's an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's a 3-hour drive probably. So he's not home. Again, the Yankees can likely make him the first $500 million guy.
Only way he's staying.
And if that's what it takes, that's what they'll do. They're not going to let him go. He's too important to them, and he's too important to baseball. And Aaron Judge is not going to change and go to LA to be in the limelight. That's not him. He speaks on the field. He does not speak through 2-minute clips. He does not speak through the limelight. He does not speak by walking down the Hollywood Strip. That's not Aaron Judge. He does not need that.
So we have about 1 minute left here on the show. So Vegas Mike, very quickly, one last question. Since you brought up the Strip, Las Vegas, Athletics or Diamondbacks, which one would you prefer coming to Las Vegas and why?
The New York Yankees. But if I can't get the Yankees here, let's say it is not going to be Phoenix because they're going to build them that new baseball stadium. And Oakland's the only place that doesn't want a baseball team. So I believe that Oakland will not be in Oakland. And if they've got $100 million, $500 million invested here, it is not going to go waste on a no good team. On when I say no good, anybody that can make it to the MLB or the AAA is good in my view. They're not no good teams, not competitive teams. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to risk their wealth. You've said it already. They're not risking their wealth in Oakland, and they're not going to risk it here. If they have to put $500 million into a ballpark, they are going to put a competitive team on the field. Watch and see. They put a great baseball park here in the AAA. They will do it in the major leagues, and you will be astounded. Phoenix would be okay, but I don't think they're going to leave Phoenix.
I'm just very cynical. I am going to Portland, taking to Salt Lake City, but just don't have them come here to Las Vegas. Now, I have 1 minute left here. So Vegas Mike, if there's anything else you want to add, anything else you want to tell the people watching around the world, you got 60 seconds. Vegas Mike, tell everybody your closing statement.
Aaron Judge is the epitome of a gentleman. He's the epitome of a good person. He's the epitome of a star. He's the epitome of somebody you would want your kids to grow up to be like. So, Aaron Judge, you're a winner. You're a star. You're worth whatever they pay you. You're worth wherever you go. Aaron Judge, you're a hero of mine.
And that was the Sports Angle on PR Connections Radio, episode 30. Their next episode will be this upcoming Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. Every Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, we upload a brand new show. I also want to give a quick shout out to a new show we have broadcasted on PR Connections Radio called Vegas Hockey Hub. The show broadcasted Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And it is going to be a fantastic show hosted by yours truly, Ian Rakelli. So follow me on social media at Ian Rakelli18 and follow that show at Vegas Hockey Hub and follow this show at the Sports Angle on PR. So until next time, thank you to everyone who works with PR Connections Radio. They make fantastic content. Go support them. And have a safe weekend and continue to watch postseason baseball. Go Yankees versus Dodgers and go Knights go.